What is Samhain? Samhain is a celebration that marks the end of the harvest season and the start of the winter months. It happens on around the eve of November 1st. This was the Celtic New Year, and as such, it's a time when the veil between worlds was at its thinnest. Samhain, sometimes pronounced Samhain, is Irish or Gaelic, and it means the summer's end. For the ancient Celts, Samhain marked the most important of the 4 fire festivals. It's right between the fall equinox and the winter solstice. Druid priests would light a community sacred fire using friction and a wheel. At the end, every person would go home with a brand lit from sacred fire, which they used to relight their own hearth. Because this was a day when the veil was thin, it was not just the ancestors that would come visit, but all sorts of creatures, both good and bad. So the Celts dressed themselves as animals or as other fearsome creatures as a way to prevent kidnapping by fairies or other entities. They also lit bonfires and torches and carried carved turnips on strings with glowing pieces of coal inside. The jack-o'-lantern gets its name from an old legend of a blacksmith named Old Jack, a man so evil that both heaven and hell refused him. Lamps were lit in his name during Samhain to light his way. The night before November 1st is then called by many names like Halloween, All Hallows Eve, or Hallow Mass. These are, of course, the Christianized versions of the Samhain practices. Halloween evolved since the Middle Ages to include parties and pranks, trick-or-treating, and all different kinds of games. So how do we celebrate Samhain today? The best thing, in my opinion, is fire. Because this is a fire festival, it's important to light maybe a bonfire or the hearth or a few candles. One of my favorite traditions, even though I've never seen it in person, is the fire wheel made of straw that villagers would roll down the hill to ensure abundance. I decided to create my own version of this celebration at home with grass straws that I found. I light some candles on my altar and I prepare for a witch's New Year spell. On a piece of paper, I write down one of my goals for the year that begins. I keep focusing on my goals as I roll each of the straws into a loop. This is going to be my fire wheel. Here's the spell I wrote for this occasion. Fire wheel, roll downhill. Hear my petition, that's my will. The wheel of the year is always turning all through the winter and slowly burning. I roll the papers and put them in the straws. Then I burn them in a fireproof container one by one. I let the candles burn completely on my altar. You can decorate an altar with Samhain colors like black and white, oranges and browns, and put some offerings such as apples and corns and nuts and breads and fruits. I included more ideas and correspondences in this page that you can download following the link below. Another idea is to visit your loved ones where they rest on this date. Leave offerings of your own, for example food, flowers, a note, or something that is meaningful to you. There is a tradition of inviting the spirits to have supper with you. For example, when you set the table, add an extra plate with food offerings that you can then leave on your altar or on your doorstep outside. Divinations are also very common at this time of the year. Often, mothers would entertain their children by cracking an egg open into a glass of water and then foretelling the future based on the visions created by the swirling white. There are some more ideas on the Book of Samhain, which I used as reference. Other types of divination you can do include tarot cards or even playing cards. I have made a video on how to read a fake tarot using playing cards. I also wrote a prayer for a deceased loved one last year. You can download it in the link below, along with this farewell ritual for someone who passed away recently. Thanks for watching and for your support. I hope to see you in the Spellsate forum. I will be there. Have a very happy Witches New Year and a blessed Samhain.